When you hear a show tune from the great white way, does a shiver run through ya? Well, we're giving them to ya. Sing hallelujah and shout hooray. Come on along and listen to Broadway to Main Street. USA.
Hello, Dolly, this is Louis. Dolly, it's so nice to have you back where you belong. You looking swell, Dolly, I can tell, Dolly. You still growing, you still growing, you still going strong. I feel the room swaying while the band's playing one of our old favorite songs from way back when. So take a rap, fellas, find an empty lap, fellas. Dolly, never go away again. The band's playing one of our old favorite songs from way back when. So, golly gee, fellas, have a little faith in me, fellas. Dolly, never go away, promise you never go away. Dolly, never go away again.
Thanks there, Satch. I'll tell you someone who'll never go away, and that's the composer and lyricist Jerry Herman, who sadly passed away after Christmas this year. And we'll spend an hour today remembering him and his immense contribution to the American theater. This is Larry Maslon, your host for Broadway to Main Street, here on 88.3 FM, Peconic Public Broadcasting, emanating out of the end-of-the-decade hamlet of Southampton, New York. Well, there's no other way really to begin a tribute to Jerry Herman than Hello, Dolly. Certainly the show, but that song, as sung by Louis Armstrong, is famous in American pop music history for knocking the Beatles off the charts after a 14-week run at the top back in April of 1964. So if nothing else, Jerry Herman showed the world, as I'm sure he always wanted to, that the music of Broadway was still very vital, that hummable show tune that he mastered so well. Well, as I mentioned, we were sad to learn just the other day that he passed away after Christmas. I hope that Santa brought him a tremendous sack of royalty checks for We Need a Little Christmas from Mame, which has become a seasonal standard. It's one of those odd things where you have a Broadway musical that has a song in it about Christmas, and lo and behold, it becomes a standard in that repertory as well. Well, Jerry Herman was born in July of 1931, and he lived in New York City. And as he was fond of saying, that he saw a production of Annie, Get Your Gun when he was a teenager and knew at that moment, like the lightning bolt came, that's what he wanted to do. And that makes so much sense in a way that the world and the music of Irving Berlin inspired his optimism and his simplicity, which I say in the most positive way possible. It is very difficult to boil down the essences of love and desire and comedy and all that stuff into a show tune, and he did it incredibly well. Well, let us hear a little bit from the man himself. This is from an evening with Jerry Herman at Lyrics and Lyricists, I guess in the early 1970s. And he talks a little bit about his beginnings and the first book Broadway musical that he wrote the score to. So, here we are at the 92nd Street Y.
I think the best way to introduce myself is to tell you that I'm a composer-lyricist who also loves being called a songwriter. Because as much as I love writing the kind of theater song that takes over from the playwright and heightens an emotion that might not be reached by the spoken word alone, I also believe strongly in writing the simple, melodic song that can have a life of its own outside of the show, and hopefully can make you hum on the way out of the theater. And so I thought it would be appropriate to begin this evening with a song of mine that accomplished both these goals. I think I should warn you, when this song was performed at the Winter Garden, it was sung by a dazzling chorus of some of the best voices on Broadway. But tonight, folks, you're stuck with little old shaky-voiced me. You coax the blues right out of the horn. Nay, you charm the husk right off of the corn. Nay, you've got the banjo strumming and plunking out a tune to beat the band. The whole plantation's humming since you brought Dixie back to Dixieland. You make the cotton easy to pick. Nay, you give my old mid-julep a kick. Nay, whoever thought a Yankee would put our little Dixie bells to shame? You made us feel alive again. You've given us the drive again to make the South revive again. Man, you make our black-eyed peas and our grits seem like the bill of fare at the Ritz. Nay, you came, you saw, you conquered, and absolutely nothing is the same. Your special fascinational proved to be inspirational. We think you're just sensational, Thank you. Let me tell you how it all began. When you're fresh out of college and nobody will trust you with a book musical, you write review material. I did a few off-Broadway reviews, and a producer named Jerry Ostreicher came and heard one of them and had the guts to trust me with a Broadway book musical. He sent me to Israel to do research, and Milk and Honey was born. While I was there, I became fascinated with the word shalom. It had so many meanings, it literally got me through the day. And so when I had to write an opening number for Milk and Honey, I turned it into a one-word Hebrew lesson.
Shalom, you'll find shalom, the nicest greeting you know. It means bonjour, salute, and skol, and twice as much as hello. It means a million lovely things like peace be yours, welcome home.
And even when you say goodbye with shalom. It's a very useful word. It can get you through the day. All you really need to know, you can hardly go wrong. This is your home as long as you say shalom. The nicest greeting I know. Shalom means twice as much as hello. It means a million lovely things like peace be yours, welcome home. And even when you say goodbye, if your voice has I don't want to go, say goodbye with a little hello in it, and say goodbye with shalom.
A great Jerry Herman song from Milk and Honey, sung by the ultimate Gentile, Robert Goulet. But he gives you a sense of, it's a pretty darn good song, and the sentiment ain't so bad either. Well, Jerry Herman revealed himself after Milk and Honey in the early 60s as being one of those comers, you know, in the generation of folks like Kandra Nebb and Stephen Sondheim and Bach and Harnick. And he got the prime assignment, which was to adapt Thornton Wilder's The Matchmaker as a musical for producer David Merrick, and that, of course, was Hello, Dolly, which we heard at the beginning of the show. So let's hear us a bunch of Dollies. We did a whole Hello, Dolly program, I guess, when it was running with Bette Midler a couple of years ago. So we'll get to some of the songs we didn't get to then. We did a Carol Channing tribute a couple of weeks ago, a Pearl Bailey tribute a couple of weeks before that. So we covered those two Dollies. Let's hear two Barbras in a row, Streisand and Barbra Fasano. And this is a song that Jerry Herman wrote just for Streisand for the movie version of Hello, Dolly, because he professed himself to be unhappy with the original opening number. He said it took him like 5-6 years to come up with a better opening number. And if that's what he thinks, who am I to argue? So, Barbra Streisand from the film of Hello, Dolly, music and lyrics by Jerry Herman.
I have always been a woman who arranges things for the pleasure and the profit it derives. I have always been a woman who arranges things like furniture and daffodils and lies. If you want your sister courted, brother wed, or cheese imported, just leave everything to me. If you want your roof inspected, eyebrows tweezed, or bills collected, just leave everything to me. If you want your daughter dated or some marriage consummated for a rather modest fee. If you want a husband spotted, boyfriend traced, or chicken potted, I'll arrange for making all arrangements. Just leave everything to me. want your ego bolstered, muscles toned or chair upholstered, just leave everything to me. Charming social introductions, expert mandolin instructions, just leave everything to me. If you want your culture rounded, French improved or torso pounded with a 10-year guarantee. If you want a birth recorded, collies bred or kittens boarded, I'll proceed to plan the whole procedure. Just leave everything to me.
Where to, Dolly?
Yonkers, New York, to handle a highly personal matter for Mr. Horace Van de Gelder, the well-known unmarried half-a-millionaire.
Gonna marry him yourself, Dolly?
Why, Mr. Sullivan, whatever put such a preposterous idea into my head? Your head. If you want a law abolished, jewelry suede or toenails polished, just leave everything to me. If you want your liver tested, glasses made, cash invested, just leave everything to me. If you want your children coddled, corsets, boulder furs remodeled, or some nice fresh fricassee. If you want your bustle shifted, breathing planned or bosom lifted, don't be ashamed, girls, life is full of secrets and I keep 'em. I'll discreetly use my own discretion. I'll arrange for making all arrangements. I'll proceed to plan the whole procedure. Just leave everything to
be wearing ribbons down my back this summer, blue and green and streaming in the yellow sky. So if someone special comes my way this summer, he might notice me passing by, and so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow up behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye, and he might smile and take me by the hand this summer, making me recall how lovely love can be. Shining in my hair, that he might notice me.
Well, if anybody thought Jerry Herman was a quote-unquote simplistic writer of simple show tunes, that number proves them wrong. It was Barbra Fasano, an incredibly moving and interwoven, complicated rendition of Ribbons Down My Back from Hello, Dolly, a song that, when compared to all the flash and sparkle of that show, gets a little lost, but worth remembering. Well, Hello, Dolly was originally written for who? Hands in the back there, of course, Ethel Merman. And Merman didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do another show so soon after Gypsy, but she got bored in the late 60s and came into the show for most of 1970 and had a career triumph. It was her last Broadway outing in a full musical. And Jerry Herman wrote a couple of new songs for her, revised ones he had written for her originally. Here's a beautiful song, which sadly is not interpolated into any more recent Dolly revivals, but it's very, very, very true to Thornton Wilder. And here is Ethel Merman recording World Take Me Back, written by Jerry Herman.
I've sliced my slice of life a little thin, haven't I, Ephraim? I've been on the outside looking in, haven't I, Ephraim? Well, from now on, Ephraim, all that's gonna change. The world is full of wonderful things, a bushel of wonderful things for me to believe in. So world, take me back. I wanna be part of the human race again and bid goodbye to all my trouble and tears. I've wasted so many odd years. It's time to get even. So world, take me back. I wanna let laughter light up my face again. Oh, no more peeking through the keyhole. I intend to have my own key. No more sneaking past the parlor. From now on, it's me sitting on the settee. 'Cause today's a day to holler about, for after just sitting life out, since heaven knows when, my step has a spring and a drive. I'm suddenly young and alive. You wonderful world, take me back again. The world is full of Aprils and Junes, red roses and yellow balloons for me to hang on to. So world, take me back. I wanna be part of those good old days again. Whatever happened to those wonderful sights, those dancing the night away nights? Oh, where have they gone to? So world, take me back. I wanna be there when the gas lights blaze again. Oh, no more watching from the sidelines. I intend to star in the show. No more reaching for tomorrow. From now on, I stand with today in my hand. For today, the world is ripe as a peach. It's gonna be mine till I reach 110. My step has a spring and a drive. I'm suddenly young and alive. You wonderful world, take me back again.
Boom. Merman and Herman. What a great combination. Of course, Hello, Dolly was one of the greatest successes of the history of the American musical theater. Won 10 Tonys, a record that it held for almost 4 decades. Well, the next project for Jerry Herman was Maine. We heard him sing a little bit of the opening number and his 92nd Street Y Lyrics and Lyricists concert back in the 70s. Here is the great comedy number from it, one of the great duets ever written, again for the musical theater. Angela Lansbury and Beatrice Arthur reveal that they are bosom buddies.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you. If I say that your tongue is vicious, if I call you uncouth, it's simply that. Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you the truth? Though now and again I'm aware that my candid opinion may sting, though often my frank observation might scald. I've been meaning to tell you for years, you should keep your hair natural like mine. If I kept my hair natural like yours, I'd be bald. But, darling, we'll always be dear companions, my crony, my mate. We'll always be harmonizing, Orphan Annie and Sandy, like Amos and Andy. If I say that your sense of style's as far off as your youth, it's simply that. Who else but a bosom buddy will tell you the whole stinking truth? Each time that a critic has written, your voice is the voice of a frog. Straight to your side to defend you, I rush. You know that I'm there every time that the world makes an unkind remark. When they say Vera Charles is the world's greatest lush. It hurts me. And if I say your fangs are showing, maim pulling your claws, it's simply that. Who else but a bosom buddy will notice the obvious flaws? I feel it's my duty to tell you it's time to adjust to your age. You try to be peg of my heart when you're Lady Macbeth. Exactly how old are you, Vera? The truth. How old do you think? Oh, I'd say somewhere in between 40 and death. But sweetie, I'll always be Alice Toklas if you'll be Gertrude Stein. And though I'll admit I've dissed you, I've gossiped and gloated, but I'm so devoted. And if I say that sex and guts made you into a star, it's simply that. Who else but a bosom buddy will tell you how rotten you are? Just turn to your bosom buddy for aid and affection, for help and direction, for loyalty, love, and pursuit. Remember that. Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and level and give you the devil? Will sit down and tell you the
Did he need a stronger hand? Did he need a lighter touch?
Was I soft or was I tough? Did I give enough? Did I give too much at the moment that he needed me? Did I ever turn away? Would I be there when he called? If he walked into my life today, were his days a little dull? Were his nights a little wild? Did I overstate my plan? Did I stress the man and forget the child? And there must have been a million things that my heart forgot to say. Would I think of one or two if he walked into my life today? Would I blame the times I pampered him, or blame the times I bossed him? What a shame I never really found the boy before I were the years a little fast? Was his world a little free? Was there too much of a crowd, all too lush and loud, and not enough of me? Same mistakes if he walked into my life today.
Wow. Well, listeners know that's one of my favorite recordings of any show tune. That's Edie Gourmet singing the 11 o'clock number from Mame, for which she won a Grammy Award for Best Vocal Performance in 1967. It shows you the show tune wasn't dead in the mid-60s. She beat out a lot of very talented people. This is Larry Maslon, your host for Broadway to Main Street here on 88.3 FM. And today we have the sad, celebratory task of remembering Jerry Herman, who passed away the day after Christmas this year. It's so funny, you know, we did a memorial show a couple of weeks ago, and there's always somebody important. It doesn't get more important than Jerry Herman, who we lose late in December. We had a New Year's Eve program scheduled for today, but we will back that into January to remember Jerry Herman. Well, he had a lot of hits. He had 3 shows that ran over 1,500 performances. That's huge. That's a huge amount, but not everything, of course, was a hit. Mac and Mabel was a 1974 musical about Mac Sennett and Mabel Normand, a sort of star-crossed relationship in Hollywood during the silent film era, much beloved by many fans. It's going to appear at Encores in mid-February, so we'll get a chance to celebrate Jerry Herman again. Here is Jason Daniele singing a beautiful version of a fantastic ballad from Mac and Mabel.
I won't send roses or hold the door. I won't remember which dress you wore. My heart is too much in control. The lack of romance in my soul will turn you gray, kid. So stay away, kid. Forget my shoulder when you're in need. Forgetting birthdays is guaranteed. And should I love you, you would be the last to know. I won't send roses, and roses suit you so. Is frantic, my temper cross, with words romantic, I'm at a loss. I'd be the first one to agree that I'm preoccupied with me, and it's inbred, kid, so keep your head, kid. In me you'll find things like guts and nerve, but not the kind things that you deserve. And so while there's a fighting chance, just turn and go. I won't send roses, and roses soon.
I'll forget
get you by next year, some year. Though it's hell that I'm going through, some Tuesday, Thursday, April, August, autumn, winter, next year, some year. Time heals everything. Time heals everything. But
Bernadette Peters killing it in Mac and Mabel, a song that anybody can sing in any cabaret or night spot and brings the house down. What a great torch song. Well, Jerry Herman did have a drought period for almost 15 years between Mame and La Cage aux Folles. Dear World was not a big hit in 1969. But here's a show I saw with my mother at the Palace Theater in 1979 with Joel Grey. And it was spectacular. There's just no other word for it. I'll tell you a little bit about it after we hear Joel Grey's character number sums up Jerry Herman's spirit and his creative genius incredibly well. Joel Grey from the Grand Tour.
Mama took the dishes, the furniture. Mama took the pillows, the candlesticks. Mama took the children and fled to Berlin. I grew into manhood, a citizen. I went into business, a patriot, foolishly believing I belonged in Berlin. My incurable optimism. Then that knock on the door in the dead of the night, and that voice saying, run, the sky is falling, run, the ship is sinking. Through the blind confusion, I remember still what I was thinking. I'll be here tomorrow, alive and well and thriving. I'll be here tomorrow. My talent is surviving. If before the dawn this fragile world might crack, someone's got to try to put the pieces back. So from beneath the rubble, you'll hear a little voice say, life is worth the trouble. Have you a better choice? So let the skeptics say, tonight we're dead and gone. I'll be here tomorrow, simply going on. Migration number 2. We moved to Vienna, the city of waltzes, of strudel and glitter and gold. We moved to Vienna, but under the waltzes, a strange counter melody, ruthless and cold. Run, your life's in danger. Run, you've been defeated. Racing through the night, I looked up at the stars as I repeated, I'll be here tomorrow, alive and well and thriving. I'll be here tomorrow. My talent is surviving. If before the dawn this fragile world might crack, someone's got to try to put the pieces back. So from beneath the rubble, you'll hear a little voice say, life is worth the trouble. Have you a better choice? So let the skeptics say tonight we're dead and gone. I'll be here tomorrow, simply going on to Paris, the city of freedom and wonder and music and light. But even in Paris, I'm dreading that knock on the door in the dead of the night. Run, the sky is falling. Run, the ship is sinking. When that moment happens, you know very well what I'll be thinking. Someone's got to try to put the pieces back. So from beneath the rubble, you'll hear a little voice say, life is worth the trouble. Have you a better choice? So let the skeptics say tonight we're dead and gone. I'll be here tomorrow, simply gone.
Well, that's a swell number. That shows you somebody who knows how to write for character and ambition and arcs and all that kind of stuff. Jerry Herman from the Grand Tour. Now, as I mentioned, my mother and I saw this. I think I was home from college during Christmas, and we sat in the mezzanine of the Palace Theater. And if you ask me what performances I saw where the audiences went completely bonkers, I mean, there's a handful. Jennifer Holliday's second performance of Dreamgirls, but the audience went crazy. You thought you had seen the next Fiddler on the Roof. It did not turn out that way, but here is a song from it that is sung by Michael Feinstein and joined by Jerry Herman, and it's a delightful song from a delightful show.
You I like, so let me tip my hat. In your path I spread my welcome mat. You I like, can you imagine that? Although your ways may be strange and there's much that I'd change, somehow you I like and warmly recommend. From now on, we call each other friend. I'll be at your side until the end. Can you believe that I found such a thrill in the sound of the new chord we strike? You I like.
You I like, so let me tip my hat. In your path I spread my welcome mat. You I like, can you imagine that? Although your ways may be strange and there's much that I change, somehow you I like and warmly recommend. From now on, we call each other friend. I'll be at your side until the end. Can you believe that I found such a thrill in the sound of the new chord we strike? You I like.
and warmly recommend. From now on, we call each other friend. I'll be at your side until the end. Can you believe that I found such a thrill in the sound of the new chord we strike? You
Michael Feinstein and Jerry Herman singing a song that, as I recall, brought the house down back in 1979 at the Palace Theater from the Grand Tour. Well, musical theater is all about survival, isn't it? It's all about looking for the silver lining and hoping you can do something before the parade passes by to drop to Alpha and Omega titles from the American musical theater. And Jerry Herman got his second shot. And that, of course, was La Cage aux Folles in 1983. And it was a show that took a long time to develop. It was a complicated show, somewhat complicated because it was set in France and, Saint-Tropez, around that area. So it was a sort of cultural thing. It was rooted about to be reset in New Orleans. That never happened. But thankfully, they stuck to the original film of La Cage aux Folles. And as we all know, the most important thing is it had the first real important gay relationship at the center of the show. And while it could have been controversial in other hands, it was made so palatable and so likable and so heartwarming in Jerry Herman's artistry, along with Harvey Fierstein and Arthur Lawrence. And it won the Tony, and it won him a second Tony Award for Best Score. And it has endured so much that there have been 2 revivals already on Broadway. So, again, I'm sorry to have to do a tribute show to Jerry Herman because he passed away, but we would very much do a Jerry Herman show. So I hope you enjoyed it. And this is our last show of the 2010s. This was the decade that we started Broadway to Main Street, and we'll continue again in the new year. So for us, it has always been the best of times, and what a way to celebrate the best of Broadway composers. Here is the finale from the recent Broadway revival with Douglas Hodge.
I'd like to dedicate this song to someone very special. Dear Anne, welcome, dear child, to our family.
This is a little song, nostalgic and unique. I love to sing this song before I learn to speak. I love to sing this song upon my mother's knee, and she loved to sing this song upon her mother's knee. And her mother learned this song upon her mother's knee. And if your mother sang this little song to you, then sing along with me. The best of times is now. What's left of summer got a faded rose. The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows, who knows, who knows. So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now. Now, not some forgotten yesterday. No,
first and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now. The best of times is now. What's left of summer but a faded rose? The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is not some forgotten yesterday. No, tomorrow is too far away. So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now. The best of times is now. What's left of summer but a faded rose? The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows, who knows, who knows? So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now, is now. No, not some forgotten yesterday. No, tomorrow is too far away. So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now. So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now, is now, is now.
Well, where is the time all gone to? This is Larry Maslon here at Broadway to Main Street. Let's catch up next Sunday at 3.
There's so much more embracing still to be done, but time is racing. Oh, well, we'll catch up some other time.